what did we show everyone? We showed everyone that we're not just talented, we are obsessed, right? But one of the challenges of doing this, of experiencing success, is the situation transforms. It is, you know, the expectations of us is different. So many people are chasing it, but we expect it. Unlike anybody else, we are going into this year expecting it. So we expect, just like any other year, a fist fight. We are going to fight and claw at everyone. They can doubt, but we're going to continue to deliver. How do we do it? I think we do it with a bike that has been there, done that. The bike that's been the #1 selling electric bike for the last 4 years. The bike that has shown, it knows that going back to back is not a finish line, it is a foundation. Introducing the Lectric XP4. God, I love this. I love this car. I love this company. Oh, and I love this bike. Holy smokes, I've had a lot of Red Bulls so far. Wow. Oh my gosh, isn't she absolutely beautiful? That is a stunning, stunning bike. And we're going to walk through this bike part for part, and you're going to realize, and you should, I would advise taking notes, because you're going to quickly learn that it has been completely transformed by every component. But what I should do first is have Robbie speak to why this looks so good. So Robbie, come join me over here. Woo! I'm in. Chief Innovation Officer, co-founder.
CINO. I was asked what that meant earlier, and it is Chief Innovation Officer, for those wondering. They didn't give me a mic, they told me I didn't need it, though. So can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right. So you're looking at the XP4. This has been under wraps for a very long time, and one of the things we knew we wanted to do with this product from the outset was level up the industrial design. Lectric is known for a lot of things. We're known for our fantastic customer service. We're known for being authentic in the industry. We're known for, you know, robustness, reliability, value, right? These are things that everybody in this room knows about, anybody who shops for e-bikes knows about. But with the design of this product, we wanted to show that. We wanted to literally embody all of those qualities that make Lectric Lectric in the design of the product and convey that to people. We wanted, you know, when you see a John Deere or a Porsche or a BMW, all of these brands, you know just by looking at it, without seeing any logos or anything, that that is a product in that family, from that brand. So we wanted to do that at Lectric and really put our signature and our stamp on this market from an industrial design perspective. So how do you do that, right? We called up the best. Joe Gray from Gray Design, industry heavyweight. He's worked at some of the brands that you know and love, some of our competitors, Rad Power Bikes, REI Co-op Cycles, just to name a couple. And Joe took us through, you know, just an insane process to get to this point, to get to what you see on the screen here today. And again, those things that we wanted to convey, the customer service, the authenticity, we landed on 2 words that we wanted to really hone in on with this design, and they were confidence and motion. And, you know, those tie back to those things that we embody as a brand. And so how do you do that? You know, looking at these lines, you're seeing a lot of parallel lines, you know, between the down tube to the seat stays, right? We have a bunch of horizontal lines trying to connect the front of the bike to the back of the bike, inspiring that confidence through the design and the actual lines of the frame. Also the motion. You guys know Lectric is about performance and fun as well, right? So how do we show that through the frame? And so these angular lines with this rectangular down tube, which is kind of one of those signatures we wanted to carry forward. The, 3 stripes, which we modernized here. The carry handle, right? We want people to feel like this is built to be transportable, robust, foldable. A lot of you guys drove in on RVs, and we wanted to, bring the XP into the XP4 here. So really excited about how the design came out. The functionality is off the charts. You don't get credit for all of the fantastic upgrades on a product unless you visually take it to the next level. And that's what we think we've done here.
Yeah. Amazing work, Rob. Thank you very much. Great job. So much of that attitude is caught up in the bike, and many bikes are caught up by the design of the frame, but often what is also part of the attitude of the bike is the tires, the tread pattern that you do. So you're going to see something a little bit different done here. So we have an upgraded tire tread, and it's this mixed terrain. And so for those that are familiar with like the Carless Whisper tread pattern, it focuses on the center patch being smooth and quiet, but still having the knobby attitude on the sides. And so what that does, and so the Carless Whisper by Specialized, we noticed this is what customers were wanting because everybody was recommending it in the comment sections in the Facebook owners group. This was the tire to get for your 3.0. If you actually go on that product, like the majority of all the reviews on that tire tread are about getting it for a electric bike rather than a Specialized bike. So really cool that that's something called out by our customers and we solved for. So it not only reduces noise, but also gains efficiency because it's smooth in the center there. And we didn't overdo the smoothness, so it still has enough bite to handle mixed terrain and everything like that. But it's really those knobby sides that really help embrace that as well. So an amazing upgrade for it. Now carrying up on the bike, we upgraded the headlight, small upgrade there, but one of the nice safety features is the side amber lights. Just visibility for cars when on the side, when at night, when you have your light on, makes sense. Good glow from the side amber lights. Let's go to the cockpit of the bike. So at first glance, you're going to think this is very different than what we've been doing and worked with before, and there's a lot to unpack here. So let's just jump right into the first one, the new hydraulic brakes. So these feel amazing. So it's an aluminum lever. It was custom made by Star Union for us. The 602 is the area code of Lectric. When you're the #1 selling bike in North America, people, partners, suppliers come to you and they say, how can I get your business? That is just a simple request. And we've really enjoyed the performance of our hydraulic brakes before. So the thing is like, it has to beat this. It has to be the best brake in the class, right? And so that means it has to beat the Tektro hydraulic brakes. It needs to be better than everyone else, and the touch point needs to be better. So the aluminum lever, you're gonna really enjoy just quality of life. It feels better. But the rotor thickness was also increased by 28%. So you're going to experience when you're riding this thing a lot of great bite, right? It has the braking capability, really unlike anything else in the class. So we're super excited about this upgrade and this performance. It's a good touch point. Another touch point that you're going to get to enjoy is, you see it as we come around it, the ergonomic lock-on grip. See, we were first launched with the Lectric 1. It just feels better. They're more secure. It has that pop-off part on the side so you can snap your mirrors in, but it's just, as this bike deserves our best. And so the performance and the componentry everywhere needs to feel like it's been leveled up. The grips before were fine, but they're not as good as this. So we've upgraded the grips here. Now, just going to the right a little bit, you're already seeing it right there, the button pad. So you're going to see now we have some additional buttons. We have turn signal controls that we'll talk about more. but just really the control capability of what it can do on the display is very nice, and we'll get there in a bit. Let's jump on to the other side of the handlebars. This has been a big request for Lectric for a while, right? People have wanted us to, take this flagship model and no longer be using the turning system. If the #1 selling electric bike in America is no longer using turning, then nobody else will really use turnings, right? So we set the pace and the standards, and so us upgrading to the Altus drivetrain, but really what I think everybody enjoys most about this is the trigger shifter. Now the challenge with going to the trigger shifter is you lose that throttle on the right side. So, we got to solve, so now we're going to jump back to the other side, and we have done the ergonomic left thumb throttle below the bars. It just makes it really easy, and comfortable, because we know we have a lot of throttle junkies in the community, and we got to solve for them. So being able to have it where you can comfortably throttle for 20, 30, 40 miles without hating your life, that makes total sense to design it that way. Cockpit. Often the cockpit is defined by the display. And this is something we're super excited about. So it's a detachable 3.5-inch TFT display. And so first let me cover the detachable part. The reason we did detachable is I think every person in this room has experienced a broken display, right? Maybe it was during shipping, and the display breaks, and then you gotta get a replacement or whatever. Now the display, it's going to be completely set up, but the display is in its own box, fully protected, so no display. And it literally just snaps in there and just is plugged in by the Gillette plug. There's no additional work that needs to be done. So we got there's that. But then also, as you're going into the grocery store, you can, just bring it with you. But TFT, what does the TFT mean? Well, the TFT means it is no longer a preset digital display. It's a fully color, and it's just nicer. It's like a true, smartphone or digital screen that you're working with. And so we have 5 riding modes: Eco, Tour, Sport, Sport Plus, and Turbo. And you're going to see that power meter goes up as the bike is engaged. And so when you're cooking, you'll see that power bar go all the way up. But also, for those that know Rob and I, we really love the brand Porsche and everything. And so that's one of the reasons we worked with Pinion, because the Pinion gearbox on the Lectric One was made by Porsche engineers. And Sport Plus is from the Porsche platform, so we wanted to drop it in there. It's beautiful setting. But so this is a really good looking display right here, but I, with my electric car and maybe others with their electric cars, love data and knowledge. And so you actually have a secondary screen options available to you. So you can just toggle over and you can see the miles per hour of the bike. You still know what mode you're in. You're in turbo, so you still know how fast you're going and the mode you're in, but now you can know things about how much power am I inputting into the bike? How much motor power is the bike providing? It's a fun game, with electric cars. I always try to optimize for efficiency and then try to completely not optimize for efficiency. And it's a really fun thing to just geek out and nerd on. And so here you can see the voltage, the amps, but your pedaling cadence, your input power, the motor power. It is super, super sick. So this is the cockpit completely reimagined. Every point of the cockpit has been transformed and fully upgraded. We're super stoked about how this turned out. So, continuing forward, you may have noticed it when oh God, yes, I totally forgot about this part. This part's sick. No longer do you have to remember the codes, right? This is awesome. remembering what P22 or P08, some of you, those are trigger, right? You already know what I'm talking about. Now you don't have to memorize all this. You can go in, you can change your assistance level, the multipliers for your experience. And so yeah, there's 96 different configurations, 20, so you go into the settings and sometimes the setting has a setting within the setting. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with your bike to make it for you, and it's a huge quality of life thing for our riders and our customers, and even the people in this room. You may be an expert in e-bikes, but you probably don't remember the codes of every single bike. So now you don't have to. You can just go in, do your settings and jump out and you're riding. So super sick. Here's what I was kind of racing to a little bit though, was this is a really interesting thing that we chose to do. And so you're gonna see the 0 degree stem. So what we had seen time and time again is our riders taking their handlebars and reversing it around and then, reinstalling it. And the whole stem. It's not supposed to do that. It is not built for you to do that. It's, I don't even know if it's safe for you to do that, but the bike isn't designed for that. Well, what if we go ahead and build in a better reach? So what's normal with the XPs, even at 6 feet tall, you're extended to now with the 0 degree stem, we went from, I think it was 12.5 degrees roughly to 0. It now sits back, and so now you have a much more relaxed, better riding position, and that increases the reach by approximately 15%. So really cool upgrade there. And just also, look at how good those black stanchions look on this bike. It's super sick and stunning. Like, Rob and the team did excellent. But let's talk more about performance. Battery. Okay, this is a really cool thing that we did here. So now it is capable of 65 cells. And so the down tube got a little bit bigger in order to fit those 65 cells. And the reason we wanted to do that, so still offer a base level version that uses 52 cells that has a 10.4 amp hour battery, but with 65 cells, you can use 3,500 milliamp hour cells. And you can actually stretch the battery all the way up to 17.5 amp hours in a down tube. I am not sure. I was trying to find something last night of a company that has a hidden battery in the down tube that is using, that offers a 17.5 amp hour battery. So I'm not sure that anybody's doing this solution yet, but we think it's a great option for riders. Of course, this is expectation, this is the standard. Every bike Lectric has produced off the line since, I think it was November 2022. It's been a very long time. Has been UL 2271 and UL 2849. So we got a really big battery. This is probably one of the things people are most excited about, though, is the new key location.
Yay.
No longer underneath. I think since we launched the 1.0, people have been asking us to change the location of the key. So it's up there, it's on the side, it's not on the drive side, it's not difficult to get to. It uses an on-off button, so the key doesn't have to stay in the bike anymore. But what's really sick is this 5 amp fast charger. This first came out with the Expedition, and then the XP4. And the reason this is gnarly is it took us a while to adopt fast charging, right? Because we were sitting at 2 amps and we saw competitors go 3 and whatever. Well, we, with those bikes, jumped to 5, and we brought those learnings and innovation down to this bike. And so this bike, on the 10 amp hour version, if you get the fast charger, you can charge it in 2 hours. You can charge the 17.5 amp hour version of the bike in under 4 hours. So crazy, wicked fast charging capabilities. And yeah, so that's it. Now, I talked about the down tube getting a little bit bigger. Watch this, this is sick. Yeah, that's stunning, that's beautiful. And you may be thinking, I've had a Lectric quick release pedal. They're never that slick, right? You gotta like perfectly line it up and get it, and it might take a couple attempts to get it. Well, these are the best pedals Lectric has ever done, by far better than anybody else in the category. So as soon as you guys feel them and hold them, you're going to feel the weight, feel the durability of this. And just to finish, it's 6000 series aluminum. Like, it is a great pedal. Not many people can get so excited about a pedal, but I can, because it's that good, and you guys are just gonna have to experience. But the spline insert makes it so easy that you can just slide it in and, you know, activate the quick release, and it's going to lock in. No more having to line it up perfectly. You know, this is a better engineered pedal than what we're doing. This is another example of Lectric being the biggest in the industry, the biggest pedal manufacturer, the pedal manufacturer that makes the pedals for literally all the top brands in the world, comes to us out of the blue and says, we want to make your pedals, and they made these. So this is a crazy expensive pedal, and we're super stoked with how it performed, and there's no one else in the market. This was custom done for us, and we're super hyped about it. So what's this pedal connected to? Let's go right into this bad boy, and we're going to do a torque sensor, so no more cadence sensor. So this is, as Lectric first launched with the Express, is a torque sensor, but you got to solve for it. And so, and I should have mentioned this before with the, you know, there's a lot of reasons to go torque sensor. One is efficiency, and the efficiency of the torque sensor with that, you know, smooth center patch. That's why you can notice a significant increase in the 10 amp hour battery's performance. It's about a 10% increase, you know, same battery size compared to what it was before, but now it has a 5 additional miles of range. And so that's due to the center contact patch torque sensor. So we're building off of the Express torque sensor, but every time we redo a torque sensor, this is our 4th time doing it, we've made it better. And so the pedaling cadence reduction, this is something that the 3.0 and every XP before it, you know, has a challenge with, where you're ghost pedaling and, you know, you're trying to get to 28 miles per hour, and you need a very high RPM, rotations per minute, in order to hit the 28 mile per hour performance. But this is now our 4th time doing the torque sensor. We've reduced, even compared to a cadence sensor. So that's the difference I'm talking about. I'm comparing a torque sensor against a cadence sensor. And that's the problem with torque sensors often, is it requires more effort in order to maintain a higher speed. But if you're really good at programming and you have an awesome freaking team, we actually reduced the pedaling cadence required to go 28 miles per hour by 18%. So it's a much better ride, and you guys are just going to experience how slow you have to do without the compromise of going to a cadence sensor or anything like that. You can have all the benefits of a torque sensor while also having the benefit of, you know, effortless riding and ripping basically at those higher levels of performance. So really, really stoked for you guys to try that out. Now this is also paired with another upgrade that's unique to Lectric. And we're going to go back outside. We're going to enjoy this good nature sound. 56 the 52 teeth chainring, or excuse me, 56. We used to be a 52. Before that, we were at a 48. And so we've been building this up. But this is actually completely custom to Lectric. You're not going to find any folding bike out there with the 56 tooth setup. It has to be custom built for the brand, and we're the first to do it. And I think it's a great quality of life for the riding experience, you know, and dual-sided chain guard, yes, but this alone is very good. But then you pair it, if we jump to the back, to the rest of the drivetrain, is, you know, we're using the full Altus setup. So we got the Altus derailleur and then an 1132 freewheel. And so this pedaling experience is just so much better. It's geared better than any bike we've really ever done before. And it's cool that we're able to, you know, muscle our leverage to do something like that. So this is the fun part. Let's jump into the motor. This sounds sick. Just experience this. Beautiful. All right, so it's using the Stealth M24 technology. And so, like, legitimately, if you take apart our motor and take apart the motor of our competitors or even some of our older bikes, you will materially see there is a difference in how we design the gearing and the motor and all of it in order to reduce noise. So we have a quieter motor with that, quieter contact patch on the tread pattern. This bike is extremely quiet. And so we're looking at the specs here, and we're seeing 500 watts and nearly 1100 of peak, 55 newton meters, and start looking at some of the other things with the bike. So we should also make it a little darker so we can, appreciate the upgrade here. But this is just one of those things that people have asked for, right? People want the turns. I'm a huge fan of the hand signals because I think they're very visible, but if customers make the request and they want turn signals on their bike, we will make it, right? It's our job to answer that call and make sick product for them. So it now has the turn signals and the brake light activation, controllable up by the button pad. So really cool. So turn the lights back on and let's get back to appreciating the way this bike looks. So we're going to bring around to the side, and you're going to see this new rack up there. And so that's a secondary rack. It's a level up rack. Versatile, it's compatible with the YEPC, 150 payload capacity. Throw your kid on the back and, with their buddy seat and they can hold on to it. It's really cool. But, it's one of those things that, like, we could have just done the built-in rack, but like visually, as we did the industrial design exercise, it simply looks better. And so we built out that, like, through this, we hit on a lot of upgrades and a lot of improvement, but sometimes these improvements are really about functionality and whatever. Sometimes you just want to do something and an upgrade just because it looks cooler and it's something you want to be associated with. So it's a really cool look. And then that's also paired with the new fenders. It's polypropylene, so no more dents in your metal fenders, no more additional noise. Remember, you can take these polypropylene fenders and completely bend them. They're not going to get bent in during shipping. And also on the back here, you're going to notice there's not even a fender stay. So kind of using that cargo bike form of how you mount the fender on there visually, it just looks better that way. But metal fenders are, as I said, it has these drawbacks, but we saw this as an opportunity to upgrade the XP4 and make the investment in, this fender, it's like the pedal, it's like way more expensive to go polypropylene compared to a metal fender, but the performance, the quality is undeniable, so a nice solid upgrade there. All right. People have been wanting for a very long time to allow for more colors to be offered with it. And so you're going to see, we're now bringing out, and yes, we haven't seen it yet, but the high step is staying, so there's still going to be the high step. Oh, wow. But at launch, you're going to have these forms of the bike. And so in the 500 watt in the high step, you'll have Tempest Gray, and in the step through, you'll have Stratus White. But in the 750 watt version for the high step, you're going to have both the Pine Green and the Tempest Gray. And then in the 750 watt version for the step through, you got Raindrop Blue, Tempest Gray, and Stratus White, all available. So the Lectric has always gotten poked at because it's like, you can get it in black or white and that's it, like whatever. And this is the #1 selling electric bike for the last 4 years, has been the XP. It's about time that we give it some more variety in the 500 form and the 750 form, but also more color options that are available to customers, and we're really stoked about layering that into our business. One other thing I want to talk about is Brando, don't go forward yet, if you're listening, is actually something that's really cool that I totally forgot to mention. The pedals, one of the reasons we did the pedals as quick release is because of the folding dimensions, right? The folding dimensions are so important to so many of our customers, the RVers and everything like that. Well, so the pedals now that their quick release reduces the width, so although we made the down tube bigger with the 65 cells, we now are able to keep the dimensions basically in line. So because we added some length as well, the folding dimensions went from 38 inches down to 37. The height went up about 1.5 inches from 28 to 29.5, but then the width actually got reduced by 1.5 inches because of removal of the pedals. So the folding aspect of the bike, very convenient, very good, whatever. So I've talked a lot about this bike, and I think like the big outstanding question is price. This is a very expensive bike to make. As we went through it, there is very clear material upgrades. Going from a cadence sensor to a torque sensor costs more. Going from the folding logo pedals to these quick release ones cost more. Going from Chainring to Altus drivetrains, more expensive. The tubing is more expensive. The TFT display, like very, very expensive, and all this stuff. But we have leverage. We have economies of scale. Tariff noise or not, we will continue to prove that we are capable of fighting for the customer, right? And so we're in the business of getting as many butts on bikes as possible. So we're going to hold the price at $999, and the 750 watt is going to be offered at $1299. And the reason this is so revolutionary is for a number of things. The $999 500 watt, I'm not sure anybody has done a TFT display at that price point, and certainly packaged together with all of this. Lectric was the very first company to do hydraulic brakes under $1,000, and then we were the first company to do hydraulic brakes under $800. We were the first to do Class 3 performance back in 2019 at under $1,000. So we're very much interested in pushing the industry to respond to us. If we compromise on that, the innovation of this industry will halt. It will not push people to make better bikes and everything. But the 750 watt, this is extremely innovative at that price point, because there is not a single bike out there. You can go on the, Rad, Aventon, Ride One Up, Pedigo, Lectric, Super 73, whatever, you name it. None of them even have a 17.5 amp hour battery at $1299, despite it not having a cadence sensor or it being a cadence sensor or LED display or whatever. Just doing a 17.5 amp hour battery has never been done at $1299. And then we're pairing it with an actual 750 watt system. We are not just calling it 750 watt. Through all of the bikes, and we're going to be open sourcing all of this data to the whole industry, and all of these results. There's going to be about 30 or 40 bikes by the time it's done over the next probably month or two. Once we get these results in and out, you're going to quickly see no one has a motor that's this powerful at this price point. So another amazing, innovative thing. So yeah, let's do a 2 clap for holding price. Selena, a little late on that one. I stared you down. But no, this is a very exciting day for Lectric. But it all comes down to what we're all about and doing good. And so yes, it's an affordable bike. We're also now doing eco packaging on this bike, and so we're just trying to do right by the industry, and even our own competitors. We think that this is a good market when we're competing against each other. And so we're extremely excited. But the 3.0, had a great moment and a great performance. And so let's give the 3.0 a nice ushering out 2 clap. But let's usher in the era of the XP4. Let's say back-to-back isn't enough. It is the foundation. 2 clap. Let's mark the calendars, because on May 6th, we are going to ruin some CEOs and competitor product teams' lives with this bike. 2 clap. 2 clap. 2 clap. All right, Tim, I think you are owed some words to